Hey guys, I'm Annie T Designs, and today I want to talk about a subject that plagues the internet for creators as a whole. That subject would be commenters who claim to be critics or giving you helpful criticism and critiques when they're really just being mean. This is unfortunately very common for most artists across the wide span of the World Wide Web, and it's not just something that happens on the internet, of course, sometimes it happens in person as well. But I want to talk about it because both the people receiving the mean comments or critiques, and then people who are giving them who genuinely think they're giving constructive criticism, I want to give them a way to tell the two apart and maybe help them be better at critique giving if that's genuinely what they're trying to do. First off, we need to discuss what a critique is. A critique, or the act of giving constructive criticism, is reviewing something as a whole. It's not just pointing out the faults of something, it's the whole piece, the whole picture. So, a proper critique, now this is something that we actually went over a lot in school, whether it was for our mood boards or some designs, and a lot of other art students will probably relate, they've done this as well. But we would have classroom critiques, where we would do something and the whole class would look at it. So the teacher made sure we knew what a critique was. It was not just pointing out what was bad. First, you point out what's really good about the piece, because no matter the person's skill level, there's gonna be something good about it. And then you point out what needs improvements. Not what's bad, you point out where it could be better. And then you look at the piece as a whole. What does the whole piece say? It is not just, this is bad, here's what needs to be fixed, which is what a lot of people seem to think doing a critique is. And another important part is that critiques are usually something that's consensual. It's something that the artist has asked for. When something is given out of context or just, here's my critique on this piece, usually it comes off as pretty rude when the person's not looking for the criticism. It's also, a lot of people seem to think criticism's hard to take because the criticism that they're giving is actually just plain mean. A proper critique has a format. It is not just saying the bad points of something. There's a start, a middle, and a finish. That can be a full essay's length or it can be a singular comment. So let's look at the difference between some good critiques and some bad critiques that are actually just people being mean, thinking they're being helpful. To start off examples, I'm actually going to read out and show you guys an example of a comment and eventual comment thread that happened between me and someone on DeviantArt a few years ago. The comment happened on this picture right here of me and my Skyward Sword Zelda cosplay. Now, looking at the cosplay, it's actually not that bad. I definitely approve if I were to do it now, but as a whole, it's actually not that bad a costume. I think we can all say that. It's not a bad Skyward Sword Zelda costume. But let's read what this commenter had to say, which first off, yep, I think the only thing I said in my description, there was nothing about I was looking for critiques. There was just, I love this costume. I literally opened with that in the description. And I mentioned that the costume is made and worn by me in this picture. Now let's take a look at what the commenter has to say. Bad, but could use some work. Zelda's ribbons aren't blue, they're green and pink. I think the dress needs to be longer given her character model, and you forgot her shawl. If you don't have her shawl, you can use a white scarf instead. Okay, so looking at what I just said before, this person just starts off bad. Doesn't go, oh, here's what you could improve on, just bad. Nothing good. There's nothing good about this costume according to them. And then proceeds to list all the problems on the costume, which I actually eventually justified on here, but I'll get to that in a second. But they're literally just listing the problems, and they told me one solution I could go to, but they obviously didn't look at the description, because if you don't have or can make your shawl, you can use a white scarf instead, when I clearly say that I make my own costume. So when I originally saw this comment, that was the only part that actually bothered me, was that they're implying that I can't sew or can't make a shawl. So I eventually went on after a little, how do I respond to this? I actually responded with, I told her my reasonings for the changes that I did. And then I say this. And please don't refer to people's cosplays as bad. Just could use some improvements or something of that nature instead. I'm studying fashion, costume design, and sewing, so I can take criticism on my personal small changes on a design. But others can't take as much, and you might really hurt someone's feelings. Thanks for your input. Left it at that. Because some people, a comment like this, a critique like this, could really discourage them from cosplaying or making more costumes. So that is why I added that little bit at the end of my justification for my reasonings. Really, I shouldn't have said anything here. I should have just let it go. I should have been like, hey, and just said that last part, just so please don't critique people like this. But I didn't, because this was a long time ago now. Let's read what her reply is. Oh, I am aware, but when I critique or give my opinion, I don't sugarcoat my words. Sorry, it will come out as I say it, but it's not terrible but lacking, and I feel it's just not good, rather bad. Well, like I said, I don't like people telling how to word my opinions. If I give my opinion on something is bad, I will. So you can deal with how I word my opinion or get upset or something little. I'm sure you worked hard on it, but it's just not good. In the official artwork, her ribbons aren't blue, it's green and pink and not turquoise. And then proceeds to send me 2 images of the character's official artwork and 3D model. As if I've never seen them before. Okay. The thing that upset me about this, though, was that someone was going out there implying that they were a critic or critiquing things when really they were just being mean. And that could be the reason someone quits cosplay. That could be the reason someone stops doing art. And that's the bad part about this. And that's why this is an example of a bad critique that is actually just a mean comment. Now let's look at a good example of a critique situation. So this was actually posted recently on my friend Kudril Cosplay's Instagram. She's working on a gown of Mothra, which is awesome. So she posts that it's her first fitting. She's not used to making gowns, and she would like some critiques from some of her sewing friends. So first off, right off the bat, she is giving consent for people to critique her cosplay. She's asking for people to critique her cosplay. So in this situation, people giving a critique will not be quite as rude or off-coming. Let's take a look at her comment. It looks fantastic. My only critique would be it looks a little long in the torso as it's bunching on the side and in the small of your back. The fact that gowns aren't something you normally do, this is really a great job. But this is great because it starts off, it looks fantastic, something good. The things that could be improved is next. And then something about the whole piece is one. That is a properly formatted critique. Nothing mean is said. It points out where the improvements can be made, and in general, this is actually a genuinely helpful comment, as much as Sarcasm Hime's reply to it is as well. These are examples of very good pieces of criticism that are genuinely helpful, kind, and respectful of the artist. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope this was helpful for those of you who tend to like to give criticism, or for those who are receiving it. Thank you for watching, and remember to like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next cosplay tips video.